Today, a decision has been made in heaven that completely changes your situation. Listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not a coincidence. It is a direct response to what you have been experiencing. A judgment has been issued in your favor. And from this moment on, any obstacle that tried to stop you loses all its power. Stay with me in this video because today you will receive the clarity and peace that you have been asking God for. This isn't just empty promises. It's a spiritual reality unfolding right now for you. Sometimes you feel like you've walked too far in uncertainty, but I want you to know that you didn't arrive at this point in your life by accident. There's something profound you need to understand today, something that transforms the way you view your challenges. Imagine for a moment the courts of eternity. There, where the purpose of every soul is defined, your name has been called. And when doubts about your future tried to arise, a higher authority silenced all murmuring with a simple yet powerful declaration, "This one is mine." Do you feel peace begin to fill your heart when you know that God recognizes you as his own? That single phrase carries a weight that our human minds can barely grasp. When the heavens call you, the spiritual landscape around you transforms. Many of the blocks you felt, those plans that seemed destined to hinder your progress, come to a screeching halt. Perhaps you felt there was an invisible strategy working against you, fueling your fears and making you believe you would never achieve the peace you deserve. However, there was a flaw in that plan. You were never alone in this battle. If you're hearing this, it's because heaven has decided to intervene directly. It's no coincidence that these words reach your ears just when you most needed a break. Consider this a high-level divine orchestration, designed to restore the courage that weariness has been stealing from you. The world often tells us that being brave means not being afraid, but true spiritual strength is different. True courage is choosing to trust in the divine plan, even when all you see are dark clouds. I know very well what you've been carrying on your shoulders. I've seen you try to keep smiling for your family, be a pillar of support for your friends, and say, "I'm fine," when inside, the situation was much more complex. You've learned to hide your battles so well that you thought silence would make them disappear. But silence without faith only allows anguish to grow. That's why this message reaches you so clearly today. Don't let silent fear consume the purpose for which you were created. Here is the truth that will transform your perspective. Your difficulties have no power over your destiny when you surrender them with faith. What today seems like an insurmountable mountain before you is merely a small detail from a heavenly perspective. You are not seeing the end of the story, but the one who wrote your path does. I invite you to stop looking at your circumstances with eyes of worry and begin to see them with eyes of hope. I'm not talking about blind faith or fleeting optimism. I'm talking about a security that comes from knowing who is by your side. Remember the story of Joshua. He faced a promise that seemed impossible. He had decades of experience traversing difficult terrain and a future that demanded a courage he didn't feel he possessed at that moment. But the instruction was clear. It's not about your strength, but about the presence that accompanies you. Write in the comments, "I accept divine favor in my life." Sometimes, waiting feels like an endless desert. It's easy to look around and see only obstacles, just as happened to an entire generation long ago. They stood before a land that had been promised to them, but all their human eyes could see were towering walls and seemingly invincible giants. Those people sought answers from their leaders, and their leaders, in turn, felt their own strength waning. It is at that point of maximum pressure, where you feel you can't take another step, that the words from heaven take on real meaning. Be strong and courageous. Don't be discouraged. But make no mistake, this is not a fleeting message of encouragement. It is not a motivational phrase to get you through a difficult time. It is an absolute guarantee that sustains your very existence. When you are instructed not to fear, it is not because the challenge is imaginary. The problems in your home are real. The difficulties you face are tangible, and the uncertainty is real. However, there is something far more real and powerful than all of that. The divine presence that walks beside you. The same power that has sustained creation from beginning is the one that today is committed to your well-being. Do you realize that you don't need to figure out how to win your battles? Your only task is to trust the one who has already laid out the path. Doubts often arise. You wonder if heaven has forgotten your situation, or why others seem to be moving forward while you feel stuck. Let me tell you something with absolute clarity. You have not been overlooked. Your name is present in every divine thought, and your face is never out of the Creator's sight. Even in those moments when the silence seems absolute and you feel more alone than ever, there's a closeness that transcends your very breath. The delays you've experienced aren't due to a lack of attention. They're signs of higher wisdom. I understand that waiting is draining and makes you question whether the relief you so desperately crave will ever arrive. But the rhythm of heaven isn't slow or random. It's strategic. Details are being coordinated beyond your comprehension. Pieces are being joined together that you can't yet see, so that when the time comes, the blessing will be complete and firm. If you were to receive what you asked for prematurely, it wouldn't have the depth or the necessary foundation to sustain you in the future. I also want to talk about that constant worry for your loved ones. I know you spend sleepless nights wondering if you're doing enough to protect your family. That responsibility has become a heavy burden that steals your sleep. But today, it's time to let go of that weight. Your family doesn't depend solely on your strength. They are under protection that you could never match. Every need that arises in your home is not a sign of defeat, but an invitation to witness divine provision at work. You don't have to try to be anyone's savior. There's already one who is infinitely more capable. Your family is a gift to be cherished, not a burden to suffer under with anxiety. There's a unique purpose for each of them and a destiny being lovingly and carefully shaped. Write in the comments, I entrust my home and my future to divine protection. See the challenges your loved ones face not as walls, but as paths leading them toward deeper spiritual maturity. Every struggle they endure is, in reality, an invitation to experience a peace that transcends circumstances. Nothing in the lives of those you love is a product of chance. Every detail is being woven into a tapestry of grace that spans generations. You are part of that masterpiece, and you will see how the promises made years ago begin to bear fruit in your children and your children's children. It's vital that you understand something about your livelihood. True provision for your household isn't subject to the ups and downs of the global economy. It doesn't depend on a contract, a bank account, or human strategies. I know you spent time doing calculations, trying to figure out how to cover each commitment, and feeling the pressure of obligations that seem to grow every day. But I want to remind you that your source of security is far greater than any financial system. Have you ever stopped to think that the one who sustains the universe has inexhaustible resources for you? Remember the journey through the desert. For 40 years, thousands of people walked through lands where nothing grew, and yet they never lacked sustenance. Every morning, with perfect punctuality, heaven sent what they needed. Their clothes did not wear out and their feet did not suffer, because divine faithfulness is constant. If there was care for so many in the middle of nowhere, rest assured that there is special care for you in your current situation. I invite you to release that frantic effort born of fear. You don't need to solve every enigma with your limited wisdom. There is a state of rest that is neither laziness nor irresponsibility, but pure trust and action. It is the ability to remain calm while the world suggests panic, knowing that it is working in your favor even when you cannot see it. Imagine a small child sleeping peacefully in his father's arms. That child isn't worried about debts or tomorrow's food. He simply rests because he knows that the one holding him is taking care of everything. That is the peace you are being called to today, the peace of someone who has placed their life in the most capable hands there are. Write in the comments, I rest in the inexhaustible provision of heaven. I understand that letting go of control feels risky, especially if you've been hurt in the past. Those walls you built to protect your heart are there for a reason. They're scars from old disappointments where trusting made you vulnerable. I know you've learned to always be on guard because others have let you down, but today I'm asking for a different kind of trust than any you've ever given before. I am not a human being prone to mistakes or broken promises. I am not someone who will abandon you when things get tough. Throughout history, not a single promise of well-being has gone unfulfilled. Every commitment I've made to my children has been honored with absolute fidelity. You can be sure that this time will be no exception. Let's talk about those whispers that try to convince you that you're not enough or that your efforts aren't worthwhile. I know there are nights when your mind projects disasters that haven't even happened yet, creating a paralyzing anxiety. Those voices are lies designed to steal your spirit and halt your progress. But remember, you have the power to reject those thoughts and not allow them to take root in your soul. Are you ready to stop believing in fear and start believing in your victory? The truth you must embrace today is that you are more than enough, because the force that sustains the universe resides within you. Your presence in this world is not by chance. You have been placed exactly where you are with a specific purpose that only you can fulfill. The future that has been laid out for your life is a path of well-being and hope, designed for you to thrive in peace and not to suffer any harm. These are not words to give you temporary relief. They are declarations of a higher reality that is being activated in your life this very moment. When the heavens declare something about you, they're not simply expressing a wish. They're releasing the power necessary to shape your destiny. I know you feel exhausted, as if you're fighting on too many fronts at once. It seems you barely finish solving one problem before a new one appears, leaving you feeling drained. Have you ever wondered if all those battles you're fighting really belong to you? Listen carefully to this. Not every battle you fought was meant for you. Sometimes, exhaustion comes from fighting on fronts that are merely distractions. These conflicts are designed to keep you busy, defending something that doesn't move you forward, while you neglect the new territory you should be conquering. Today, you are given permission to abandon the battles that aren't yours to fight. You don't have to defend yourself against every criticism, respond to every attack, or prove anything to those who doubt you. Some battles are won by participating, but many others are won simply by walking away. The wisdom to distinguish between them comes from our daily connection with the divine. When you're certain of who you are, you no longer need to fight for the approval of others. In the battles that have been assigned to you, victory is not a possibility. It is a guarantee. You don't fight to see if you will win. You fight because victory has already been secured before you even took the first step. Write in the comments, "I choose my battles with divine wisdom." This confidence completely changes how you face challenges. You no longer walk with uncertainty, but with the certainty of someone who knows how the story ends. This courage is like that of the young man who faced a giant with only stones, or like those who chose a fiery furnace rather than betray their convictions. It is a boldness that defies human logic, because it doesn't depend on what you see, but on what you know in your heart. I am awakening in you a courage that doesn't depend on favorable circumstances. It is a divine strength that remains steadfast even when everything seems to be against you. Perhaps in the past you felt you failed, that fear overcame you, or that you remained silent when you should have spoken up. I want to tell you that those moments don't define you or disqualify you. Great figures of faith had moments of weakness, and yet they were instruments for changing the world. Your past mistakes haven't erased the plans that heaven has for you. What you are receiving now is a fresh strength for this new stage of your life. It is not recycled courage from past experiences, but a new anointing tailor-made for the exact situations you will face starting tomorrow. It is a courage that comes with a peace beyond all understanding. Do you feel your inner strength being renewed as you listen to these words? This courage you receive today is not a fleeting feeling. It is a delegated authority that allows you to walk as a true representative of heaven on earth. When you speak with this courage, you are not using your own words, but acting as an extension of the divine will. And there is something wonderful you should know. Courage is contagious. When you choose to stand firm in the face of adversity, you ignite a spark of faith in those who observe you. Your decision to trust, above all fear, gives your family and your community permission to do the same. You are not being equipped only for your own benefit. You are being transformed into a bearer of hope for a world that often feels paralyzed by doubt. Have you ever thought about the impact that the faith of a single person has on history? Imagine what would have happened if the great men and women of faith had given in to fear. Had they not taken that step into the unknown, the course of humanity would be different. Your courage today holds that same potential. The decisions you make today will affect generations you have yet to meet. I am not asking you to draw strength from where you have none. I am inviting you to drink from a wellspring of strength that never runs dry. Whenever you feel anxiety threatening to overwhelm you, come and find that peace that is yours by divine inheritance. Write in the comments, "I am a bearer of faith and hope." This is where something seemingly contradictory to the human mind occurs. You can rest while in the midst of battle. How is it possible to have peace in the middle of war? The answer is simple: by understanding whose fight it truly is. If you try to fight with your own strategies, exhaustion is inevitable. But when you recognize that the battle belongs to God, your role changes. Your task is no longer to win the war, but to obey and watch as heaven fights for you. This rest is not ignoring reality. It's acknowledging a higher reality. It's knowing that behind what you see, there's an unstoppable purpose moving in your favor. Imagine a small child sitting on his father's shoulders as they walk through a noisy crowd. From that height, the child has nothing to fear. The crowds that might frighten him are below, unable to touch him. The child sees farther than any adult because he is lifted by his father's stature. He doesn't have to worry about making his way. He simply enjoys the journey, trusting the security of those firm shoulders. That is the rest offered to you today. The rest of one who knows he is being carried along the way. Your family is also included in this protection. Your children don't face their challenges alone, just as you don't face yours alone. The same hands that hold you also care for them. Your role isn't to be their ultimate security. That role belongs to Heavenly Father. Your mission is to be a living example of how to rest in divine provision. I know your dreams for them are big, but I want you to rest assured. Heaven's plans for your loved ones are even more beautiful than you can imagine. Every prayer you've offered for them has been heard and has touched God's heart. If I allow them to face challenges, it's because those moments forge a character and resilience that comfort could never produce. I don't seek to give them an easy life, but a meaningful and purposeful one. Write in the comments, I entrust the fate of my family to the hands of God. Let's talk again about your livelihood, because I know fear has taken hold in this area. I know the numbers that keep you up at night and the calculations that just don't add up. But I also know what I'm about to do in your life. I know the doors are going to open and the connections that are already being made. Remember the widow who had only a little flour and oil? She thought it was the end, but her provision miraculously multiplied. She never lacked what she needed day after day. That is a promise for you. You will not lack sustenance. My provision is not always dramatic or loud. Sometimes it comes in small, daily miracles that require your constant trust. The stress you feel isn't just about money. It's about a lack of control. But control was always an illusion. Your true security was never in a bank account, but in my loyalty. When you understand this, financial challenges cease to be crises and become opportunities to witness miracles. Are you ready to let go of worry and receive the peace that comes from above? I know that in the silence of your room, you've asked yourself profound questions. Why has this path been so difficult? Why does it seem that every time you take a step forward, a new obstacle arises, trying to stop you? These doubts are natural, and you don't have to hide them. There's plenty of room for your frustration and confusion. You don't need to feign a strength you don't feel today. The answer, though difficult to process, is revealing. The intensity of your resistance is directly related to the importance of your purpose. The adversary does not waste his efforts on people who do not represent a light to the world. If you face fierce opposition today, it is because your life, your faith, and your testimony threaten the darkness. You are under pressure not because something is wrong with you, but because you are valuable to heaven's plans. Can you see now that your struggle is actually a sign of your great importance? Every trial you've overcome is instilling in you something comfort could never build. You're developing an unwavering perseverance and a depth of faith forged only in the fire. When you emerge from this season, and I assure you, you won't be the same person. You'll be wiser, more compassionate, and possess a spiritual authority that only those who walk through the valley and emerge victorious have. Nothing you suffer will be in vain. Every tear is an investment in a future you'll soon see with your own eyes. In the coming days, I want you to put something fundamental into practice. When fear tries to rise up, mention your faith. When doubt whispers in your ear, declare the promises of well-being you have received. These aren't magic formulas. They are tools to reconnect your spirit with the source of all power. Isolation is fear's strategy. Every time you seek refuge in the divine, that strategy crumbles. Write in the comments, my purpose is greater than my battle. Today you receive a special permission to rest. I'm not just talking about spiritual relief, but real physical rest. Your body is exhausted from carrying burdens it should never have borne, and your mind is weary from seeking solutions to problems that belong to Creator. I give you permission to release your constant vigilance over your family and to sleep with a peaceful heart. You cannot care for others if you are empty within yourself. I have designed a rhythm for your life that includes work and rest, activity and stillness. Lately, you have been living outside of that rhythm, giving everything without allowing yourself to receive anything. This imbalance is neither sustainable nor what is desired for you. Trust enough to pause for a moment. The world will not stop for you to rest, for it is not you who truly sustains it, but a higher power. Picture for a moment the future that is being prepared. This season of difficulty is temporary. It will not last forever. A change in atmosphere is coming that will make every day of waiting worthwhile. You are not stuck or forgotten. You are being positioned for something beyond your current imagination. In that near future, I see your family thriving. I see the prayers you offer for your children being answered with astonishing clarity. The struggles they face will have become the strength of their character. They will walk with purpose, reflecting a light you helped cultivate through your faithfulness. You will experience immense joy as you watch new generations walk under the same protection that covers you today. Write in the comments, I receive rest and peace from heaven today. The future being designed for you isn't just about survival, but about having enough to be a blessing to others. I'm not talking about some fantasy of effortless wealth, but the natural result of walking in integrity and being faithful in little. When you learn to trust during times of scarcity, you lay the groundwork for stability that will allow you to give generously and without anxiety. Heaven honors perseverance and multiplies what is entrusted to it with faith. In that tomorrow that is already unfolding, I see you at peace. And I want you to understand this. You won't be at peace because all your problems have magically disappeared, but because you have learned to rest in a higher power despite them. True tranquility isn't the absence of storms, but the certainty that your boat won't sink because the one who guides it knows the way. This peace doesn't depend on what happens outside, but on profound relationship you are building today with the divine. Can you feel that vision of peace beginning to calm your anxiety right now? Your only task today is not to figure out how to get to that future, but to trust one day at a time. You don't need to see the whole map to take the next step. I am placing a new courage within your spirit. It is not something you must work hard for. It is a gift you simply have to receive with open arms. Let this strength penetrate to the very core of your being, beyond your superficial doubts. This courage will manifest itself in very practical ways in your daily life. You'll notice that decisions that once paralyzed you will now bring a strange calm. Conversations that used to make your stomach churn will now be filled with an almost supernatural clarity. It's not that fear will disappear completely. Courage isn't the absence of fear, but rather that you'll have the strength to move forward despite it. Even if your palms sweat or your heart races in the face of a challenge, you'll choose to continue because you know you're not alone. Write in the comments, I receive divine courage in my life. Always remember the promise that the battle is not yours alone. Your family is under special protection, and your sustenance is guaranteed by unfailing faithfulness. Every difficulty you face today is refining your character and preparing a testimony that will shine a light on others. Your faith matters far more than you realize. It is a legacy you are building for those who come after you. I want you to know that there is someone who is deeply proud of the battles you have fought. Even those you felt you didn't win. Every prayer you offered through tears is valued, as is every time you chose to trust even when everything seemed against you. You haven't been perfect, but you have been consistent, and that is priceless in the spiritual realm. From this moment forward, carry this newfound strength into every corner of your life. Let it influence how you think, how you speak to your children, and how you approach your commitments. Something has shifted within you today. A seed has been planted that will bear fruit for many years to come. Move forward with your head held high, knowing that things are working in your favor in ways you cannot yet see, piecing together every element for your ultimate well-being. Write in the comments, I walk with my head held high and under divine protection. A reminder for your journey. This message has been transformed to accompany you on your path of growth. If you feel these words have renewed your strength, subscribe now so you don't miss any of these reflections. Don't forget to like and share this video with a loved one. You could be the channel someone else needs to regain hope today. And for those who wish to voluntarily support our mission to continue creating this content, the Super Thanks option is available below the video. Thank you for your generosity and for being part of this journey. Even if circumstances try to tell you otherwise, I want you to engrave this in your heart. The faithfulness that sustains you is unwavering. I am not like shadows that change. My commitment to you is the same today and will be forever. If you place your trust in this promise, you will never experience the disappointment of having believed in vain. By resting in this love, you will find that deep peace your soul has been so desperately seeking. The giants that challenge you today are nothing compared to the force fighting on your behalf. From heaven's perspective, those mountains that block your path are merely small hills that you will soon leave behind. The enemies who try to threaten your peace have already lost their authority before the supreme power. When you expose your fears to the light of truth, they lose the hold they had over you. Can you feel the weight of your problems become lighter when you know who is walking beside you? No plan designed to harm you will succeed, because you are positioned for victory. Do not let your heart be filled with anguish. The commitment to never leave or abandon yourself is a living and active promise for your specific situation today. It is more solid than the ground you stand on and more constant than the sunrise each morning. You were chosen intentionally. You are not a mistake or an accident of life. You are a precious creation, and nothing you have done or failed to do has diminished your worth. Write in the comments, "I am a valuable and protected creation." I want to talk to you about something that has been weighing heavily on your heart. Your relationships. I know there are people who should have been your support, but ended up being the source of your greatest pain. You bear the scars of hurtful words, broken promises, and betrayed trust. These wounds have changed the way you see the world, and even the way you approach the divine. Sometimes you expect heaven to fail you because others have. You brace yourself for rejection because it's been a recurring theme in your life. But today I want to remind you that divine faithfulness has no human limitations. When a commitment is made to you, it is kept. Nothing can separate you from the care that has been promised. The pattern of painful relationships you've experienced is not what defines your connection to the divine. I invite you to tear down those walls, perhaps not all at once, but brick by brick. Deep healing is available for those past wounds. I'm not asking you to ignore what hurt, but to allow that pain to be transformed into wisdom and compassion. Your restoration doesn't depend on those who hurt you changing or apologizing. Your peace depends solely on your willingness to share those parts of your story that you haven't told anyone. Are you willing to let go of the burden of the past to receive a new opportunity to love and trust? I know you're protecting yourself, keeping a part of yourself hidden for fear of disappointment. That self-protection is understandable, but it's also limiting your capacity to experience the deep connection you were designed for. You were created for intimacy, to know and be known, to give and receive love without reservation. The walls that keep you from pain also keep you from wholeness. I want to teach you to trust again with renewed discernment. I will guide you to recognize the people who have truly been placed in your path to add to your life, reliable people who will honor your trust and walk with you through thick and thin. These connections exist and have been preparing for you, but you need an open heart to see them. Finally, let's talk about that purpose that beats within you. There's a task that bears your name and a contribution that only you can make in this world. That calling has been growing inside you, sometimes as a clear whisper and other times as a restless longing. Don't ignore that flame, because it's the driving force that will give meaning to everything you've experienced. Write in the comments, "I heal my wounds and embrace my divine purpose." That feeling that accompanies you, that inner whisper telling you that life must be more than what you're experiencing today, is absolutely right. It's not an illusion, nor is it a product of your imagination. It's the recognition of a calling placed within you long before your first breath. The courage that flows through your spirit today is intimately linked to that mission. You must understand that fulfilling your purpose will require you to step outside of what you currently consider safe. It will lead you into uncomfortable territory and require you to take risks that, according to common logic, might seem unreasonable. Your destiny lies not in the comfort of the familiar, but in the courage to follow divine guidance, even when it seems to make no sense to your rational mind. Are you willing to trust that you will be equipped for that which today seems beyond your capabilities? Sometimes we spend our lives waiting for the perfect moment. We wait to feel completely prepared, for circumstances to be ideal, or for all obstacles to magically disappear. However, the right moment isn't dictated by external conditions, but by the voice of your spiritual intuition. When you receive the signal to move forward, it's the moment, no matter how many doubts you feel about your own readiness. Your insecurity isn't a sign to stop. It's an invitation to stop relying on your own strength and start relying on divine support. Remember the story of Gideon. He was hiding, filled with fear of his adversaries, when he was called Valiant Warrior. For him, that title was contradictory. He belonged to the smallest group and was hidden out of fear. But that statement didn't describe his present situation, but rather who he would become by taking the step of obedience. Write in the comments, "I accept my calling and trust in divine support." On Gideon's journey, something happened that defied all human logic. His army was drastically reduced, from thousands to just 300 men. For anyone else, that would have been a death sentence against an enemy that filled the valley like a plague. But heaven works differently. Sometimes, less is more when the driving force is supernatural. That reduction wasn't a punishment. It was a strategy to ensure that victory couldn't be attributed to human effort, but rather to divine intervention. Perhaps today you feel your resources are scarce, your support has dwindled, or you're at a disadvantage in the face of your problems. Don't be discouraged by what you seem to lack. If you retain what is essential under the right guidance, that will be enough to defeat any giant. Your life is entering a stage where the quality of your faith will outweigh the quantity of your resources. Don't fear cutbacks or unexpected changes. They are often the necessary preparation for your undeniable triumph and for your testimony to be a light to others. Do you feel the weight lifted from having to do everything with your own hands? What that man was learning in the desert is the same lesson that comes to you today. Victory doesn't depend on the amount of resources you have at your disposal, but on the presence that walks with you. Sometimes, heaven allows your options to dwindle and your human support to disappear. This isn't abandonment. It's a strategy. Plan BS are eliminated so that you learn to trust the only plan that truly guarantees your well-being. When something you depended on is taken away, it can feel like a trap or as if you were destined to fail. However, it is in that void that divine power becomes undeniable. The path is being cleared of any logical explanation so that, when triumph arrives, there will be no doubt that it was a higher power that sustained you. The transformation from someone who hides in fear to someone who leads with authority is happening within you right now. Do you feel the need to control everything fade away when you understand that your true strength comes from above? Gideon's journey, from seeing himself as the weakest, understanding his invincibility under divine protection, is your own story. The limitations you accepted in the past don't have to dictate your future. By embracing courage and faith, you become the person you were always meant to be, someone whole, confident, and capable of facing any challenge. I want you to identify the specific areas where you need to apply this newfound strength today. There's a conversation you've been avoiding for fear of others' reactions or the conflict it might create. Postponing these words doesn't protect you. It only prolongs a situation that needs resolution. The courage you receive today isn't for a destructive confrontation, but for expressing a clear truth that builds and liberates. Write in the comments, "I declare words of truth and freedom in my life." There's also a decision you've been putting off, waiting for a moment of perfect clarity that seems to be eluding you. You've sought opinions and analyzed every detail, but there comes a point where delay becomes your biggest obstacle. You have enough information. What you lack is the leap of faith. Today, you are granted the ability to decide without being paralyzed by the fear of making a mistake. This isn't blind impulsiveness. It's a faithful action that trusts that even if the path veers off course, there will be someone to correct it. Understand that the fear of making mistakes is often a form of pride, a belief that everything depends on your perfection. Let go of that burden. Your victory isn't based on being flawless, but on being obedient to the impulse of your spirit. Every time you act with this confidence, you're breaking chains of anxiety that have held you back for years. Are you ready to make that decision that will change the course of your present? Deep within you lies a dream you've kept silent, a vision you're afraid to pursue because it seems too grand to be realistic. You've locked away in your heart, fearing that if you speak it aloud, the risk of failure will become real. But today, the courage to bring that longing to life is being released within your spirit. It's not a fantasy that ignores your circumstances. It's a vision that sees far beyond them, connecting with what the heavens have already decreed for you. There are also areas in your personal life that require renewed firmness. Perhaps you have been allowing situations that don't honor the value you have been given, accepting deals that dim your light. You are given the strength today to set healthy boundaries. This isn't about harshly pushing people away, but about protecting the sacredness within you. When you understand that nothing can separate you from divine care, you become capable of making changes that once seemed impossible. Do you feel how the security of knowing you are loved begins to dissolve your deepest doubts? Fear loses its hold when your life is anchored in a higher truth. Anxiety dissipates when you choose to rest in the promises of well-being, and that hesitation that held you back transforms into decisive and purposeful action. To understand what's happening in your life right now, imagine a seed buried in dark soil. From its perspective, nothing seems to be happening. There's no light, no warmth, and it appears to have been forgotten in the gloom. It would be easy to think that the promise of becoming something beautiful was just an illusion. However, what the seed doesn't perceive is the intense work happening beneath the surface. Write in the comments, "My roots are strengthened in faith." Those roots are pushing hard through the soil, laying the solid foundation that will support everything that is yet to be born. That darkness you feel today is not abandonment, it is preparation. You are in a season where, even though it may seem that nothing is moving, a profound work is being done on your character. Beneath the surface of your current circumstances, the foundation of your faith is being built. Every moment of waiting and every silent battle is preparing you for the moment you will emerge, and your growth will be visible to all. Do not despair over the time you spend in the shadows. The strongest trees are those that took the time to deepen their roots before showing their branches to the world. Are you ready to trust the process, knowing that you will soon see the fruits of your perseverance? What has been gestating in the darkness of your waiting is about to manifest in the light. The exact moment of your advancement is no mystery to the heavens. They know when your roots are deep enough and your foundation solid enough to support what is to come. Your task is not to force time or allow yourself to be consumed by the frustration of what you do not yet see. Your task is to trust the gardener who planted you and receive the nourishment that is being provided to you today. The fruit will come, but first there must be faithful waiting in the earth. You must be alert, for when progress is imminent, fear tries to regain its footing. They will try to make you feel small or remind you of past failures to convince you that this time will be the same. But you are not defenseless. You have powerful weapons. The truth that exposes lies and the shield of faith that extinguishes any doubt. The battle for your courage is fought primarily in your mind. Guard what you think. Reject thoughts of defeat before they take root. Are you ready to use the tools you have been given and protect your peace? Faith and courage aren't feelings you wait to act on. They're decisions you make regardless of how you feel. Courage isn't the absence of shaky knees. It's choosing to walk even when your knees are shaking. Often, action precedes feeling. If you wait to feel brave to take the first step, you could wait forever. But by obeying, the ground becomes solid beneath your feet, and the next step becomes easier. The rest you were promised isn't for some distant future. It's available right now. Breathe in that peace and let it envelop your soul like a warm blanket. You don't have to earn this gift, just receive it. I invite you to a deeper intimacy, to a level of trust where you don't operate with yesterday's strength, but with daily renewal like the air you breathe. Write in the comments, "I receive my victory and rest in His faithfulness." In the coming days, you'll notice practical changes. You'll find yourself speaking with quiet confidence, expressing truths you previously kept silent out of fear. You'll make decisions with less hesitation, not because you have all the answers, but because you trust the one who guides the outcome. You'll see your dreams and goals with fresh eyes. What once seemed impossible will now appear as a clear opportunity. This courage isn't just for you. It's a generational legacy. By breaking your patterns of fear, you're freeing your children and grandchildren from those same chains. Every courageous decision you make today is a deposit in your family's spiritual account. Secure and ground your descendants will no longer have to fight for. You're building a legacy of faith that will resonate into the future in ways you don't yet understand. Walk with your head held high, beloved child. Enter this new season knowing that the God who guides you knows the end from the beginning and never tires. The world needs people who trust without reservation and face life with godly boldness. You have been transformed from the inside out. Now, Go out and live with the courage that has been given to you. Write, Amen, to seal this word in your heart.